Big mabuhay around the world, everybody. I hope everyone's doing great. It's been a while. I've been doing some stuff, been catching up on my sleep, to be frank about it, but I feel good today. And I thought no better way than come back to the channel and try to help some people out. It's the real reason I got on here today. And a very famous Filipino YouTuber by the name of Mike Cashin unfortunately passed away today. And I just wanted to pay tribute to him today. I have a very small channel, but hopefully, if everyone sort of makes a video and sort of makes everyone aware that Mike has passed away, and they can go to his channel, My Philippine Journey, and donate. I know from what I can tell, Mike really didn't have a lot of money, but he had a lot of friends. And so hopefully those friends can come together and donate a little for his significant other that unfortunately had to go to the hospital today and deals with some paperwork from what I could read. And I'm sure the burial will be coming. And so if you go to his channel, they'll have updates about how to donate. Apparently, she doesn't know how to access his PayPal, which is very unfortunate. So hopefully she does have access to the Patreon donation as well. But, I would go there, and before you donate, make sure you can see any updates that are going on, or maybe she'll provide a link to herself there to get the donations. But, unfortunately, I really just had to talk with my parents long distance about kind of getting their affairs in order. So, hopefully, she can really go in there and get this money because, YouTube will keep generating money, even unfortunately, though, that Mike has passed away, money that she could use, I imagine, or would need right now. So, hopefully, everybody out there, you can easily just write out the passwords and stuff down. It's so difficult to get in touch with these stuff. But in any event, Mike did some great stuff. He did some really, really great stuff. And he's going to be remembered in his videos. As a testimonial, people will still remember him coming to the Philippines and driving around, going on his motorbike, and really living the dream, living his dream. And that's why we find, a lot of people coming to the Philippines because there's something missing back in the U.S. And for a lot of people, Mike was that sort of shining light to take that risk. Even though he was older and he didn't have a lot of money, and from some of his comments, he said he really didn't have any family back in the U.S., he was willing to give it all to come to the Philippines and seek happiness. And that's what a lot of us come to the Philippines for in many different ways. And Mike was just that shining light on YouTube, and one of the first ones just to go out there and document what he was doing. And I don't even think he probably knew what he was doing. But if you log into other YouTubers like Philly in the Philippines, you can hear him say, Mike just really was an inspiration to me. And, Philly in the Philippines really made a really good comment that, we take for granted now. And he said, I didn't know the guy, but I knew him. And I laugh because, that's kind of a typical East Coast thing or kind of a Marx Brothers thing. But in this case, it really is true. The internet really binds us together, and we really sort of can have this connection with somebody. And please excuse the camera. I just want to get closer here. I'm kind of just showing my background a little bit. I didn't want to show a bare wall, so I'm going to be a little jerky, as it goes back and forth a little bit, but I thought this was kind of a nice backdrop. But, Philly in the Philippines said that, and it sort of rang so true to me, especially with Mike. You watch his videos, and videos don't lie. Sometimes they do, but the persona or the person can reach out. And in this case, Mike really reached out to a lot of people, including myself, and he touched them. And he made a lot of people reconsider what they want to do. And in the U.S. right now, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that don't have families, a lot of people that have lost a lot of money. And we see that, one of the YouTubers that I watch, Paul, uh, what is it? Old Dog, New Tricks in the Philippines. He sort of documents what happened to him in the great crash of 2007 and 8. For the great generation, or the greatest generation, they went through the Great Depression. The Great Depression. 2007, 2008, we call it the Great Recession. It was not a recession. It's basically a depression that's continued to this day. And like Paul, a lot of people lost all their money, lost everything. And it really made America a really sad place to live. People never recovered. They lost houses. They lost everything. And the jobs have not returned. And so for older Americans, as well as younger Americans, I'm 50. I guess they consider me younger. But even a lot of people have kind of given up on the American dream. They don't feel comfortable there. And so they're moving to the Philippines. People are doing that. And Mike was one of them. And he documented coming over here, the good, the bad, everything, and the exciting part. And he's just a down-to-earth guy who just documented coming to the Philippines. And, I really give, Mike and people like him a lot of credit, because a lot of them come over not knowing anybody. I'm married to a Filipina, for better or for worse. Don't tell anyone I said that. But, it's the same with any marriage. You can't live with them. You can't live without them. And, he came over here and he made a life for himself. And he was willing to leave everything behind. And it's not easy to do that, especially if you don't know somebody, or, you don't have someone that can sort of navigate everything over here for you. And also not have a lot of money, so, having my wife here to help navigate, have family here, it makes it a lot easier. It really does. It doesn't feel like you're just, jumping off the cliff. You have some support structure there. These guys that come over on their own, I give them a lot of credit. I'm the son of a pilot. I've been to a lot of foreign countries. I've lived in foreign countries. It's not that big a deal for me, but it's easier to have somebody with you to help navigate the situation and deal with things for you. And when you don't, it's difficult. But what you see is these men, and they form many form relationships with local Filipinas that kind of help them, through thick and thin. And we can see that with Mike's situation and other people's situation as well. And that's the one thing I think that's really important, no matter what age you're at, is really this idea that there's somebody there for you. And in the U.S., because families have really split up because of everything, it's a broken country. Okay, it's littered with sorrow right now. People have divorced, they've lost everything. There's no connection. People don't trust each other. And that's the one thing I think that really appeals to Americans when they come over here, is the trust and the understanding and the old famous words. Thank you for understanding me. Which, if you know a Filipina or a Filipino, you'll learn that situation pretty quick. And now my son's learning it. And I said, oh no, he's learning it too. But it's sort of this idea that you understand what the person is thinking. You empathize and understand them. And that's the one thing that's missing. Since my grandparents died in the U.S., we really don't have any family really coming together or gathering. And my parents are still around, but it's not the same as it was. We had my grandparents around. Everyone would go there for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for all these things. And even though, people in a family, have disagreements, everyone was still together. Everyone took care of one another. They were there for one another. Oh, sure, there's arguments and disagreements, and maybe, people resent things. I mean, that's what happens in family. But people also celebrate things as well. And that's the one thing we forgot in America is the celebration. And what you have, when everything, is gone, basically, is you have family. And no matter how much money you have, you can't buy love, you can't buy happiness, and you can't buy a family. You just can't do it. And so that's what I feel. You see a lot of Westerners, but a lot of Americans coming over and a lot of older Americans coming over. It's traumatic. America, and, I'm not going to say that it doesn't have advantages. I mean, in my opinion, it used to have advantages as far as economic advantages. Now it's very difficult. But the emotional advantages that America offered, which in the 70s and 80s and part of the 90s, it was really a great country. And everyone supported one another. There were families, but now it's a wasteland, really, unfortunately. And so for my Filipino viewers out there, you're wondering why so many Americans are moving to the Philippines. It's because of the love that the Philippines has. And I understand, I don't want to sugarcoat this. I know that there's lots of difficulties in the Philippines. But the one thing there's plenty of love. There's plenty of people that will talk to you, that will empathize with you, that will make a friendship with you. And that's the one thing America is really missing at this time. And so Mike went out there and he documented this journey that he took. He jumped off that cliff and left everything behind. He didn't have a lot of money. And he said, that's what I'm going to do. And he was sort of the spear, or sort of, the trailblazer behind a lot of these YouTubers that came after him and documented their experiences and documented finding a Filipina or being heartbroken by a Filipina, having trouble with immigration, buying food, doing this, doing that. And he became the poster child for everyone watching that, saying, hey, I can do that. Hey, I could do that. I could go out there. I could try something new. And so, his YouTube videos, hopefully if they stay up there, I don't know really who has control of them, they'll be a lasting testament to him. That instead of, sort of withering away and just waiting for, frankly, for death to happen to him, he said, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't have any family. I don't have any obligations. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to go out there and see what happens. And, it's very difficult to leave one's country. It is. The fear factor, the unknown factor. And he embraced that. But he was also a YouTuber. Mike was not a young man. He's not as, technically proficient as everybody else or any. He said, but I'm going to take a camera and do this. And I'm going to show everybody what I'm doing. And he did it. He wasn't a young man. He didn't have a lot of money. And he said, I am going to go for the adventure of my life. And that's what he did. And a lot of people have taken up his challenge and have come to the Philippines and are doing the same thing. They are not going to waste away in a nursing home. They're not going to waste away feeling sorry for themselves. They're going to board that plane and come over here, hopefully with some money. And now with Mike's videos and other people's videos, but Mike was one of the first to start doing them, people know what to do. They don't have to make the same mistakes Mike did or lose money on something or do something, fall flat on your face. They can watch his videos and gain some confidence with that. It's sort of a how-to guide to moving to the Philippines. And they're going to be there. And they're for free. They're free videos. So I encourage, everyone out there, to go to Mike's channel, My Philippine Journey. Apparently his significant other, his love interest, really didn't have access to his PayPal. So I hope that you monitor the situation over there and donate to take care of Mike, for Mike's significant other there, to take care of the burial, take care of the hospital bills, and maybe they can have a small dinner for Mike, a tribute to Mike out there, and honor his life. And the last video that I saw him, he was going around in a wheelchair, and he said, "This is my cowboy Cadillac," and I just had to laugh. I go, "This guy is something. This guy, he is not going to sit down and take it. He's gonna fight with every last fiber of his body. He's gonna live." And he went out there to meet a friend, and he couldn't get around in the wheelchair. They blocked off like an aisle, and he had to walk. And I could tell the guy was having a tough time. And he walked out there. He got into the wheelchair, and he said, "Okay, let's keep going." And you got to give somebody like that a ton of credit. He didn't have to roll over out of bed and get out of there, but he was willing to do that and fight to the end. Not only that, document it. Mike knew he wasn't in full health and wasn't looking great, but he was going to document and show people what was going on. And that takes a lot of courage. And it takes someone that, can kind of understand the situation and document it and not be afraid of it. And so, we God bless Mike. God bless his family, and God bless his love interest and all his friends. And speedy journey, Mike. We're drinking to you tonight, Mike. You didn't lie down. You fought the good fight. And you had a great life, and you ended it the way you wanted to end it. God bless you, Mike, and thank you. A little Johnny Walker. And hopefully we're up there in heaven. You got a full bottle up there too, Mike. We'll see you later, Mike. And for everyone out there, please donate and help Mike out. And we'll see you later on All Things Filipino. Take care. Bye-bye.